If you've been in the world of sportswear for the last 5-10 years, you will most likely have heard of seamless. So what is seamless? Today, I'm going to give you the beginner's introduction to what seamless garments are in sportswear design and how you as a aspiring brand entrepreneur can understand what seamless has to offer for you and how you can navigate the world of seamless. We'll be looking at brands that have been employing seamless for the last 5-10 years, and we'll take a look at how they use seamless in their garments so that they're able to achieve specific effects. For number one, we're going to be addressing what seamless knitting actually is. What distinguishes a seamless legging like the Alphalete Amplify legging from a traditional legging like Lululemon's Align legging? Well, in general, it comes down to the construction method. We have two primary methods of construction: cut and sewing, which is the traditional method. It's basically where we get a piece of fabric and we create the garment pattern, which is the shape of the product. We lay it out on the fabric piece and we cut it out and then we sew it together. With seamless, it's more of a machine made. The fabric doesn't come ready from the fabric mill. We actually buy the yarns. So we buy the elements that are needed to make the fabric. What we do is we create a tube, and the machine that creates the tube is called a circular tubular knitting machine. These machines all have yarns that are fed to them. The yarns are essentially what the finished garment is made out of, and the fabric that ends up making the product is constructed row by row in this tubular knitted construction, and the tube is knit piece or line by line until you have a finished tube at the end. Once that tube is done, it's essentially going to be a grayish tube, which usually is just like a white or a off gray tube, and then we dye that tube. Once we have that, then we are left with the tube that looks like, if we had a pair of leggings, it would look like a skirt with excess fabric on the inseam, so where the legs are, and we would be able to cut out that excess fabric and then we would sew in the inseam. And the only seam construction is on the inseam. And actually, in some newer methodologies of seamless knitting, you have machines that are even able to eliminate the inseam line altogether. That machine and that technology is still in the works. Seamless means that you have minimal seams, not virtually no seams whatsoever. When it comes to branding the garment, since a machine is making the fabric, we can program the designs of how we want the fabric to be knitted. Whether we knit them loosely, whether we knit them tightly, whether we miss a row, whether we miss a gap, all of these allow us to create intricate patterns, which is what is known as jacquard knitting. We can actually program the machine to do a double stitch knit or to knit in a different yarn color. You don't have to perform quality control. When it comes to seamless knitting, you're able to create zones of compression, zones of stretch, breathability, and visual patterns. So how do we do this? We will essentially program the machine in specific areas of the garment, whether it's on the sides of the torsos or in the middle or on the chest, to create a more densely and more tightly packed knitting structure where the loops of the purls and the actual knits themselves are much tightly packed together. So instead of potentially having 8 in a specific section, maybe we have 15 in a specific section. So we're doubling the amount of yarns in one specific section of the garment, which is adding that tension, that resistance. Another functionality might be stretch. For this, we can do ribbing. Ribbing is the function by which we apply a knit and a purl pattern. So it's the up and down patterns to the yarns in order to create zones of stretch. If you look at the Alphalete Amplify legging, it has a 3-tier waistband, which is 3 sections of knits. You have a 1x1 rib knit at the bottom, you have a 2x2 in the middle, and you have a 4x4 at the top. The advantage here is that you have varying zones of stretchability and varying zones of compression, so that the fabric doesn't pinch in and create that muffin top effect. When it comes to seamless knitting, we're also able to introduce breathability. We introduce breathability by doing the opposite of compression. Instead of knitting our garment more densely, we knit the yarns more loosely in specific zones, or we purposely miss specific rows or columns of stitching in order to create intricate mesh patterns like a bird's eye mesh, without needing to cut and sew additional panels and buy mesh fabric to add in those zones. So why would you want to look at doing seamless garments? There's a variety of different advantages, both from a functional and product standpoint, and actually from an economical standpoint. When it comes to seamless, then what are the types of yarns and fabrics that you have available? We need to look at seamless in terms of yarns, not specific fabric. You purchase yarns that are fed into the machine. In general, polyester, nylon, and spandex tend to be the most popular choices simply because they are easy to spin, they're easy to dye, they're easy to work with, they're durable. I would go for polyester for something that values moisture retention or moisture wicking and more durability. I'd focus on nylon for something that's softer with more stretchability. I'd focus on spandex to bring in shape retention to the overall garment. And then of course wool, which is becoming more popular, adds that touch of comfort, adds that touch of breathability and moisture resistance as well. And when it comes to weights, you'll tend to notice seamless garments tend to be more tightly packed and knitted when compared to their cut and sew counterparts. So if you were to take a sports bra and create that design identically in seamless knitting, and you were to put them over each other, the same bra that had a very similar fit would actually be quite a little bit smaller, almost half a size smaller in seamless knitting, simply because of how the yarns contract on themselves and how they have the ability to stretch. So you have much more stretch and much more shape retention, but the garment itself tends to be a little bit more compressed on itself. Seamless fabrics tend to be thicker than their cut and sew counterparts. Whereas with a sports bra on a cut and sew legging or a cut and sew sports bra, you might notice that the fabric is around 230 to 240 GSM. That's a great weight fabric. Whereas with seamless knitting, creating a 230 to 240 GSM fabric would be way too thin and way too see-through. Brands like Young LA, Alphalete, Lululemon, Buffbunny pioneered the use of seamless, and seamless opens the doors to so many different opportunities and different designs. You can really set yourself apart. The challenge for you is knowing what is available to you, what you have at your fingertips. If you guys want to learn more about seamless, you can check out the numerous number of videos that we've done in the past on seamless. This has been my 2025 take in a much more simplified format. And if you want to get my opinion directly, you want to speak to me one-on-one on how you can bring in seamless designs into your collection if you have a startup brand, or if you're an existing brand looking to scale to the next level, well, you can check the link in the description. I offer one-on-one consultation calls every single week. I really don't hold that many slots because time is limited, but if you do want to hop on that call, check the link in the description. And I say this from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.